Hi, I'm Steph. I work at Carers Leeds. I specialise in working with parent carers and also, for my sins, know quite a lot about benefits. When you initially claim DLA, you get an award for a certain length of time. The first award is often for 2 years, 3 years, sometimes a little bit longer. But 5 months or so before that award is due to end, you'll be sent a renewal form. And it's really important that you look at this, fill it in and send it back as soon as possible, because they take quite a long time to assess that application. Because you've already claimed, hopefully you've got a copy of your old form. If you haven't, when you do get your renewal form, you can ring DLA and you can ask them to send out a copy of your old form, and they should do that. The reason for doing this is because you'll be able to see how things have changed from when you first applied 2 or 3 years ago. If you did your original application with Carers Leeds, we should have a copy of your form on file. When you receive your renewal form, the first thing that you'll notice is that it's actually a little bit shorter than the original application. They don't ask you things that they already know and things that won't have changed, but it's still important that you fill this form in as thoroughly as you can. I'm going to take you through the key questions and just give you some hints and tips as to what you should be thinking about when you're filling in the renewal form. When you get the form, the first few sections are just simply about your child, about the health professionals that may be supporting them, about what school they go to, and that's all quite straightforward. The first particularly important question is question 32, which is, has there been a change in your child's health condition or disability since your last claim? Important things to include here are, has your child been placed on a waiting list for a diagnosis? Have they received a diagnosis? Are they being assessed for an EHCP? Have they been awarded an EHCP? Those are all quite key documents and important developments that you need to tell DLA about. The other thing that you need to consider at this point is, how is your child developing? If there was things that they were struggling with 2 or 3 years ago when you did your initial claim, are they still struggling with things now that they were struggling with them? Do you feel that the difference between them and their peers has got much, much bigger? When you compare them to their older or younger siblings, are they doing things that the older sibling was doing at this age? Or has their younger sibling kind of overtaken them in a sense? These are all the things to look at. Also think about the support that you give to your child. What would happen if you didn't do those things? What would happen if you didn't cut their dinner up for them? What would happen if you didn't sit next to them while they fall asleep? Would they eat? Would they fall asleep? Would you actually end up with things taking an awful lot longer than they currently do? Okay, the next question, question 33. Does the child use or have they been assessed for any aids and adaptations? Now, when people hear the term aids and adaptations, they often think about a specialist bath, a ramp up the side of the house. But for lots of your young people, it will be things like a visual timetable, a fidget toy that they're allowed to use at school, ear defenders when you go out. It's something your child has that other children may not have, which enables them to be better regulated. The next question, question 34, what help does the child need? This is a question that's asking you, is it different on one day to another day? I think with a lot of your young people, the type of thing you might do for your child might vary from one day to another, but the level of care you're giving on each day doesn't. So unless there's a massive variance, I would say that the level of care that you give is the same every single day. Because if they think there's some days that are easier, the assessors may well focus on those days and not give you the award that you need. Question 39 puts all the personal care questions into one question with tick boxes. All the stuff around using the toilet, moving around, going to bed, washing, dressing, eating and drinking and taking medicine. They're all lumped together in one question. So you need to think about what you actually do for your child in each of those areas. They have given you a box to fill in. It's not that big. So if you find that you've got more information to give them than you can fit in that box, then at the end there's question 64 where you can add anything else that you think is important. It's better to give them too much information rather than assume that they will agree that that person needs that help. As we talked about when you did your original form, particularly around going to bed, Think about the time that you'd like your kid to go to sleep. Then think about the reality of that situation. Think about all the things that you have to put in place in order for them to lie down and go to sleep. Think about whether they wake up ridiculously early and you then have to be up with them from 5 in the morning, or whether at 8 o'clock they're still lying there going, no, I'm not getting up. Think about all those things, and think about, again, what would happen if you didn't give them that support. Would they still be running around the house at midnight wanting to play with all their toys and not going to bed? Thinking about washing and dressing, what prompting are you giving? What do you need to do? Do you need to do the same thing every single night because they don't retain the information? Go through what you wrote on your first form if you've got access to it, and look at how that's updated. Next question, do they need extra help with their development? Now, this is a question that's aimed slightly at children with a learning disability, so you need to think about what extra support you're giving as a result of a learning disability. But for a lot of young people who have maybe got autism or ADHD, they're not processing the world in the same way as their peers, so they are needing extra help with their development. They're needing help to understand why people are behaving in that way, because it might not make sense to them. They may struggle with friendships, they may only have one friend, they may seemingly have lots of friends but don't actually feel confident in those friendships. They may need help to play with other young people. They may dominate. They may shrink back. Think about your child's characteristics and how they are in terms of relating to other people, their peers, to teachers, to family, and write that stuff down. Just describe how it is for your child when they're out there in that big wide world. And maybe when they get home, sometimes we have the expression that kids kind of let it all out when they get home because they feel safe. Those things are important. That's the support that you're giving them emotionally to function on a day-to-day basis. The next 3 questions, 44, 45 and 46, are all about school. So if your child has got extra support at school, it's really good if you could show this question to the teacher to fill in, if the support is good that they're getting. In terms of their behaviour at school, schools might say, oh, they're really, really good at school. Now that's fine, but actually you might know that when they get home they let it all out. So you could also say that you think perhaps they mask at school. How do they normally get to school? That's an important question, because if they're on school transport it shows that they're probably in a specialist's provision. But school can potentially help you with that question if you think that will be useful. If you don't think it will be useful for school to fill that in, then don't ask school to fill that in. If you think the support your child should be getting in school that they're not, then write that down as well. The final question in the care section is about the child's overnight care needs. The reason this is separated out is because if your child has care needs overnight, as well as in the daytime, you might get the higher rate of the care component of DLA. So these questions talk about needing assistance and supervision overnight. It asks you how many nights per week this might happen and how many times per night it might happen and how much time you're spending giving that level of support. It's quite good to, leading up to a filling in this form, maybe keep a sleep diary for a couple of weeks so that you can actually say, oh well, I was up 3 times that night, but I was up once that night. So you can see proper evidence of it. Send that sleep diary off. Talk about why you had to get up at that particular time. Was it to help with toileting needs? Was it because the child had woken up and was demanding to go downstairs and play on their Xbox? What would happen if you just ignored your child? Would they say, oh, it's okay, Mum, I'll get back into bed? Or would they go and wake up all their siblings and then go downstairs and eat all the biscuits in the cupboard? So it's thinking about what support you give, why you give it, what would happen if you didn't give it, and how much time it actually takes. And it's about getting what the average is. You might have some really, really horrendous nights. You might have some really, really good nights. What's an average night? That's the kind of thing you need to be putting on this form. The more information they have, the better they are able to make a proper decision. Don't assume that they will understand what you're saying just from ticking boxes. You need to give them the actual narrative of how it is. The next question I want to talk about is question 63. That's more information from somebody who knows the child. Now, if this is useful, you could get school to fill this in. Have you got a close relative? Does your child have an extra support worker? Somebody who can write a really factual account of what your child is like. These reports don't need to be worried about saying how it is on the hardest day, because that's the information that DLA need. That's what they need to understand in order to decide whether your child is eligible for this award. So get somebody who you know will write something that really is an honest assessment of your child's needs and submit that. If you don't have anybody, it doesn't matter, you don't have to fill that question in. Question 64, tell us anything else you think we should know about your child's claim. Now this is where you can add any extra information that you've not been able to fit in the boxes on the previous questions. But if you just want to write here a summary of your child or put in any information that you think is important that hasn't been included elsewhere, then question 64 is the page to do that, and you can add extra pieces of paper if you like. The final question I want to draw your attention to is question 70. You can send any supporting documents that you have. So if you've got an assessment report or an EHCP or a report from a speech and language therapist, you can add those. Please only send them a copy. Don't send original documents because you won't get them back. But it's anything you've got that you think will support your claim, include it in there. Things that are really important is please do take a copy of this form, whether you scan it on your phone, whether you take photographs, whether you photocopy it. It's really important that you keep a copy of this because sadly it probably won't be the only renewal form that you do. So like you've done with your original claim form this time, when you're doing your next renewal, you can look back at this form and update it. Send it recorded delivery. They will have sent you an envelope. We don't think that's enough. We want you to send it recorded delivery so that you absolutely know that they've got it and you've got proof that you sent it. So should it get lost, you send all your documents again with the proof that you posted it. It could be up to 12 to 16 weeks before they make a decision, so do send it off well in advance. You won't end up with a break in your claim, but you might have a pause in your claim if you don't get it to them at the date that your original award ran out. So please do get it in on time. If you've any questions, if you'd like a member of staff from Carers Leeds to have a quick look through your form before you send it off, then please do get in touch with Support Line or Carers Leeds in whatever way suits you.